Hey guys, how's everyone doing today? I hope everyone is doing super well. Hey Mira. Well, Jordan is about to join us and then we'll get started. We're going to be talking about scheduled shows and party chats, which are two of the most common things we get asked on in these webinars and just in general support. So we're going to be going over a lot of good stuff. As you guys have any questions on scheduled shows or party chats, send them over as we're going. Hey, Jordan.
Hey, everyone. Made it. Hi, everyone. Yay. There's so many of you. Thank goodness. Hi, Amy. Awesome. Are we just waiting for
Friday going so far?
Hey, May. There is so many of you guys. I literally love it. All right.
All right, we're going to wait a couple minutes for a couple more people to join in, and then we'll get started. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen.
Cool. Hey, everyone. Sweet. Is it hot where everyone else is, or is it just California? Because it's so hot. You guys are lucky. Except for you, Dylan. Florida. Makes sense. Oh my gosh, I wish it was raining. I really wish it was raining. Is there more people still joining, Carlos?
I think we have a good amount of people going, and anyone that joins in after can always watch the recap afterwards to catch the beginning. So let's get started.
Sounds good. You want to go first?
Yeah, so the first thing we're going to cover is scheduled shows. And the first thing, just for any of you guys that haven't scheduled any shows yet or haven't used the tool, I wanted to do a quick little recap so you guys can see what it'll actually look like. And this is just a test account, so normally the calendar is going to look a lot more full than this, but you would go in here and you could find this tab. It's the second tab in your model admin under the Flirt Summit one. And in this tab is where you're going to see all the days that are coming up and what times are available. So let's say we wanted to schedule a show on Monday the 31st. You'll be able to go through and see all the times that are available, select the time you want. You'll be able to choose the photo that you want to display on the calendar as well. And then you choose if you want 1 or 2 hours. I always recommend starting with a 1 hour show just because filling up 2 hours can sometimes be a lot. But if you have a lot of stuff going on or a lot of stuff planned, 2 hours is perfect. And then this is where you choose your show type. And Jordan and I are going to cover the differences between like party or group and things like that in a little bit. But this is where you go to choose that type of rate. You put the title, description, and you add it. Once it's added, it's going to show up here on your current scheduled shows so that you could go back and keep track of the shows you already have. And from here, you're also going to be able to edit. So like if you decide you want to switch the theme of the show, you want to cancel it, or you just need to reschedule it to a different date, a different time, you could do all that here. You can schedule up to 2 shows a month. Sorry, 2 shows a week. You could do 2 shows a week. I personally don't recommend doing that many. I think the cool thing about these shows is that for your existing customers and your new customers, it's like a show. It's something exciting. It's something cool. So I think if you schedule them too often, it almost loses some of that like special like excitement factor. But yeah, this is where you schedule them. And anybody that has a CPH of 500 or above is able to go in and schedule. If your CPH is just slightly below 500 and you're not able to schedule it, always feel free to reach out to us directly. There's always exceptions that can be made. And, you know, if we see that you're at like 450 or something, we can easily make an exception and we could put you on the calendar. So it's always worth reaching out to us. And what's cool about this too is that it looks at your current CPH and your lifetime CPH. So as long as one of these is 500 or above, you're good to go and you'll be able to schedule your shows in here.
Awesome. Any questions yet so far, guys? It's pretty easy. It's a whole dedicated tab, so it shouldn't be too hard to find in your admin. But if there's any questions, go ahead and ask them. But I think we're okay. Cool. All right, go ahead. Do you want me to do this?
Do you want me to take this one?
I can do it. It's fine. So when you're making a scheduled show, you definitely want it to be like what Carlos was saying, like a show, not just like a private show. Like you want to make it a little bit special, do something different so that you're really going to get hopefully like a lot of viewers, people watching and tipping. So just some examples here would be like a birthday or a cam anniversary. You know, you can read the list here: a new toy, lingerie debut, themed shows, really anything that's just something different and not like your regular broadcast, just something different. And maybe unique too. You know, if you have a lot of customers who are saying like the last tab here, say like, oh, I really want to do like a certain, I don't know, like a dress up type of thing, a certain outfit or a costume, like doing a type of show like this would be great.
And I think what's really cool is like, you know, if you look at some of the shows historically that have done the best on the site, they've always been really unique things or random things or things that don't happen a lot. So like normally when you're in your cam room, you know, you're not really cooking, you're probably not working on like an arts and crafts thing, but you know, I can think of a few girls like Olive Ray, which was mentioned earlier, or Nikki Crystal, or even Sven on the guy side that have done really well with these crazy cooking shows where it's either tip based for them to keep cooking, or it's, you know, every time they get a certain amount of tip, you know, a piece of clothing comes off, or it's like daring them to eat like really spicy like peppers and things like that. So you can get really, really creative. And when you do random things like that, you know, your existing customers are going to get excited, but then people that may have never gone into your room are going to just be curious because it's going to be like, you know, like, what is this guy or this girl doing? And it also is really cool because you're going to be able to attract new people because, like, you know, I might join your cooking show, your arts and crafts show, but this other customer might join your game night, and it could be anything. It could be like Monopoly, chess, checkers, you know, any type of game you can do in your room. I know a lot of customers are on the older side and really enjoy playing card games or poker or things like that. So there's really no limit to what you can do in your party room. Sorry, in your scheduled show. I think what's most important to remember is just that it needs to be unique to you, and it should be something cool and exciting and different. And I think that, you know, if you invest in a new toy, or you invest in new lingerie, or, you know, you invested in a photo shoot and you're adding all this content to your fan club, like it's new photos, new videos, all this stuff, why not have this big, cool scheduled show and debut that so that all your customers and a ton of new customers on the site can see that, you know, wow, she just, you know, her fan club is like, has all this new content. So just stuff like that is always good to do via scheduled show because it's such good promotion, because during that scheduled show, you're going to be at the very top of the page. So like when the customer goes to Flirt4Free, you're the first thing they see. You're the biggest room, you're at the very top. The title of the show will be there. So if it's like, you know, new fan club debut or new, you know, Lush toy or whatever it is, like everyone's going to see that. So it's just the best way to get your stuff out there to the most amount of people as quickly as possible.
Awesome. Okay. You want to go with this one, Carlos? Or do you want me to?
Yeah. So I chose this photo just because, as you guys know, I'm sure, and you've seen, the calendar fills up so quickly. And especially during quarantine and during the summer where there's more models working and more models spending more time online, it's, you know, getting filled more quickly. So it really is, the title and the description are going to be really crucial because you want your scheduled show to stand out. You know what I mean? So like if I'm a customer and I go on the calendar, I'm like overwhelmed with so many options. But if you do something really cool, really creative or attention grabbing, you know, customers are going to gravitate towards wanting to read like, okay, what is this show about? And then if they click onto it and your description is so descriptive, it's so exciting, it's so cool, I know exactly what I'm going to get, you know, it's more likely that I'll take my time to go to your show versus others because it stood out, it caught my eye. So it's just really important that your titles are really captivating and that you put a really good description to help you stand out among such a crowded, you know, calendar. And they can be okay, you know, if you're trying to be coy or if it's something that's gonna be more of a surprise, there's no problem with it being a little bit more on the vague side, but you still wanna make sure that the customer has at least a visual or an idea of what the show is gonna be, like what they're gonna get during that 1 or 2 hour show. So definitely try to stay away from really generic things or generic descriptions and try to make it seem like it's you talking. Like I think as personal as you can make it and as like strongly in your voice as you can make the title and description, the better. And make sure not to have them be the same thing. You know, the title's supposed to grab the attention and then the description is supposed to like really hook them in. So like try not to make them be the same thing, and yeah, just try to make them be something exciting, cool, eye-grabbing. If there's something culturally that's going on, if there's like something really cool that you're known for as a model, you know, just like those little eye-catching words are what I recommend to put in these things, just help you stand out.
Awesome. So here's some tips on when you want to choose between, well, I guess maybe we should take some questions on scheduled shows before we move on. Does anybody have any questions yet with scheduled shows before we kind of move on to different chat types and stuff? Are we okay?
Yeah, like if you guys have any questions on like rules to schedule, what types of shows you can do, anything like that. Karen, this webinar is in English, but we do Spanish ones as well. I can send you a link to the Spanish one we did yesterday.
Okay, sounds good, Dylan. If there's anybody else, I see one other person typing. But if you send it, I'll get back to you. Okay, so group versus party. These are obviously two different chat types, but they're kind of similar. So it really just depends on what type of like experience that you're wanting to create for your guest. Group chats usually, or a show usually requires like a lot more work and promotion ahead of time, because for those of you who don't know, if you're choosing a group show, customers essentially are going to pledge credits, and there's a goal of credits. So kind of like you can see on your screen here on the left-hand side, there's a credit goal. So in this example, there's the goal is 200 credits. So you really want to make sure that you're promoting that, because when or if that goal is met, then you can enter the show, the customers can. So a little bit different than party. And then if you're choosing a party chat, it's a good way to get more exposure, make yourself more known to customers, and you'll probably get a lot more traffic as well, because as probably most of you know, you can like perform an open chat and there's a little bit less rules while you're in open. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the really important things that Jordan mentioned is that if you're going to do the group show, you know, you have to do that promo beforehand, because as you guys know, you need to meet the credit goal for it to start. So if you're going to do a group show, which is a great option, because it's closed off, only the people that, you know, paid to enter are going to be able to see the entire show. Using, you know, different tools like an email blast, using sending individual messages to your top customers, putting it on your social media, even the day before, setting up a room receptionist so that everybody that enters your room gets alerted, like, hey, you know, I'm gonna do a really crazy group show tomorrow. This is the pledge to enter. It's at this time. That way you really make sure that everybody knows about it, so that it's more likely that at the time of your show, you'll be able to do the group chat. And what I recommend, if you're gonna do it this way too, is to set the credit goal higher and set a lower minimum pledge, so that you get a really large number of customers to join in. It'll be a more fun experience. You'll get to know more people that way, and you'll still be able to take advantage of the exposure and like the promotion of the scheduled show. And you know, with this one too, you could even set like a longer countdown. Like if you normally do like a 10-minute countdown, maybe if your scheduled show is scheduled for 1 at 12:45, you can start a countdown and at 15 minutes to sort of tease, hype up your show and get people excited. And also just to make sure that all the people that you promoted it to and that saw it in your room receptionist or your room topic or mail blast or whatever have time to go into your room and pledge before the show actually starts.
Definitely. Jessica, no, you aren't able to take privates while you're in party chat. So if you do want to go private or someone wants to take you private, you would need to change your login type and then you go into a private. And then maybe Carlos, could you help me answer that question? Because I'm not
so maybe
sure.
ask if a customer pledges into a group show and they leave the room before the show starts, how does it work for them? So basically, if a customer pledges and your credit goal is met and your group show starts, you as a model keep all the credits because they pledged, you know, you got your full goal and you're going to do the show. If they come back, like let's say, you know, they come back a minute into your show, they'll still be able to enter it. Or, you know, sometimes during a group show, a customer's internet might go down for a second or something. If they re-enter, like if they come back to the site, they'll be able to re-enter your group show, no problem, because they've already pledged. So, you know, they'll know that they'll be able to go back in. And you as the model always get to keep the credits once it starts because you performed the show, they pledged, it was met. So yeah, you don't have to worry about any refunds or things like that if the customer ends up leaving early or something like that.
Cool. Thank you for helping me.
Of course. Yeah, so do you guys have any questions on the group versus party or the different types of ways you can schedule the actual shows? Another thing I think that's really important to keep in mind if you're going to do the party chat too is to make sure to use the goals and make sure to constantly update them. You know, as soon as they're met and you know you've done whatever the goal is, update it. That's one of the things that's going to keep the show going, and it's going to be one of the things that's going to, you know, help you earn more and help your customers stay engaged and stay motivated to keep tipping and keep the show going. So yeah.
Yes, thank you, Cassidy. I think at least saving goals, I think, is later on in our PowerPoint, right, Carlos?
Yeah, we're actually going to talk about the different functions that you could do in the actual party goals. But like Cassidy said, you can force a start group show. So like, let's say your total goal was 1,000 credits and you're at 950 credits. You can just go ahead and start the show and everyone that paid will be able to see it and other customers will be able to pledge into it after it started. Another thing you can do is you can, when you set the group chat, there's an option to, you could set it for like 10% goal met. So like, let's say you set your goal to 1,000 credits. If you want it to seem like people have already sort of pledged and stuff before it even starts, you could do it to like 10% goal met so that it looks like 100 credits have already gone towards the goal. And Franchi, yeah, party chat, group chat, and private show all have the exact same rules. So you're able to perform the same way in all three of those different show types. All right, if there's any other questions on this, let us know. If not, move on to the next tab. Just out of curiosity, how many of you guys, actually maybe I'll just do a poll. I want to see how many of you guys have done a scheduled show before.
Ooh, I don't think we've used polls on here yet.
I know, I don't know why we don't. We should do it more often.
May, if you're, I mean, technically you're not allowed to be in public, so no one else can be seen or technically heard. So if you're like totally private, like your own private pool or like in your own like gym room, sure, like as long as there's like absolutely zero chance that someone can be seen or heard, it's okay.
Yeah, but those are great options to do.
Yeah.
I can't honestly think of a lot of US models that have done shows like that, but I know a lot of models like in Colombia or even Romania have done a lot of pool shows or gym shows. and they do really well. There's a lot of customers that like that kind of vibe, and so yeah, as long as there's no other people visible in it, 100% you could do it wherever.
That's a good question.
All right, so some scheduled show tips that we'll go over. And if there's any other questions, just send them over. Me and Jordan will get to them after. But the biggest thing I can tell you guys is make sure that your scheduled show is different than just your normal broadcast or like a normal party chat you would do. The real benefit of these shows is that it's a great promotional tool, a great way to advertise yourself. So you want to make sure that you're doing something really cool, something really special that feels like a show. It's also important that you make sure your show follows the theme or description you set, because if I as a customer saw your title, your description, I was really excited about it, I make sure I'm in your room at your show time, and then it's a completely different show or something, it's going to create a negative experience for the customer, especially if it's like the first time the customer is really spending time in your room or really getting to know you. So it's really important that you're delivering whatever it is that you were promoting or whatever was on there. And advertising is, we'll advertise it as well, like on the calendar, things like that. But the more you can do to advertise it, the better results you're going to get. And you can advertise it on your social media through various ways. You could do photos, videos, and with the times and reminders, hype it up that way. And then we have a lot of internal tools you can use as well, like we talked earlier, the room topic, the room receptionist, the mail blast, messages, a lot of these types of things that you can use to make sure that all your customers are aware. And I think, one thing that's important with these is that obviously it's a great way to get to know new customers, but it's also something you want to do to your existing customers. I think when brands are doing big promos or big things like that, it's one, to attract new customers, but it's also to strengthen the relationship with existing customers, because you want to keep your customers happy and excited and feeling like, wow, this model is always doing something cool, always doing something new. So they keep coming back to you. So that's one cool thing about these shows, is that you want to promote them really heavily to your top customers as well, just as like a cool new thing for them to, just a cool new thing for you and them to be able to do together.
Definitely. And just as important as advertising would be like post-show follow-up with your customers. So your new customers that maybe you got from your show, and definitely like thanking your old customers. So, and reaching out in the same ways as you were promoting. So like sending messages, sending gifts, mail blasts, just like a recap and thank you. It's just more personal that way. And I think the customers would really appreciate that. Like, wow, like, yes, so-and-so had the show and they said it was going to be this, and they did it, and I even got like a thank you for attending. Like, how cool would that be as a customer to feel that like important? It's super important.
And one thing with the mail blast too, like I think it's really important to, like, after you do a really cool show, to send a recap, because like Jordan said, the customers that were a part of the show and loved it are going to remember how great it was. They're going to feel really cool that you thanked them. But then any of your customers that got your mail blast before, saying like, hey, come to my show, and missed it, now reading the recap are going to be like, whoa, like I really missed something that sounded so cool. Like they're going to have that, not like jealousy, but they're going to have that like FOMO. And I think it's more likely that then they'll join your next show, because it's like, I don't want to miss another one, and get this recap and be like, I have no idea what happened, or I missed out. You know what I mean? So yeah, and virtual gifts are free for you guys to send. It's just like a cute little thing you can do. And Miss Nicolette, you can actually do it through your admin. So like if you go, well, you could go to the customers thing, or if you go to your member info in the customer dashboard towards the bottom of model admin, I can actually show you guys real quick.
Yeah. I think you can even send it with the, like if you go to the messaging system, there's a virtual gifts tab.
So if you go here to member info and then you go to dashboard, here your customers will show up. So like we could click this one, for example. Oops. I'm going to test the account, so maybe why it doesn't work. But if you click this customer here, it would take you to that customer's profile, and it'll have an option to send a gift. Or like Jordan said, in your messaging system, you can also send virtual gifts here. And it could be on theme to whatever your show was. It could be something cute, something that you and the customer both enjoy, whatever it is, just something cute. And then you put the username message that you want to send with it, and it goes.
So, any other questions yet so far, guys?
Yeah, if you guys have any other questions on anything related to scheduled shows, send them over. If not, we'll move on to the party chats.
Okay. You can move on, Carlos.
Oh yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
So, party goals.
So I can go over this one. So party goals, they are only going to be there when you're in party chat. And we'll get to that question in a second, Amira. So party goals are a fun way for customers to have like a goal for something. So essentially, like you can see on your screen here, you can have up to 3 goals. You could also just pick 1 or 2, whatever you want. And there's going to be different credit amounts for customers to reach. And then in turn, like it says here, what will you do? So you could be really creative. You could do a dance, you could do a strip tease, you could have, really anything you want on there. It's party chat, so you can have the same rules as if you were in a private show. So it just really keeps customers engaged to have party goals while you're in party chat.
Yeah, and it's cool. So like once you put in the credit number and the goals, once you click set goals, that's what puts it live onto the site. So like on your room and your video, customers will see sort of like that little thermometer thing with the goals. Every time somebody tips, it starts, filling up. And then once the goal's met, we all see it. You can delete the goals here. We could reset them. And then like Cassidy mentioned earlier, one really great thing to do just to save a lot of time for yourself is save goals. So like if there's like, a certain set of goals that you're going to be doing often, once you put them in, you save them and you'll have them on menu here. So instead of having to go in and like manually type every, credit number and, what you're going to do every time, you can just do it from a menu and then it auto populates and you auto set them.
Exactly. And then Amira, I believe you're not gonna be able to add more time during your chat, but I think that you would need like a steady amount of like activity happening in your room, like tips, so that the party chat won't end automatically. Is that right, Carlos?
Yeah. And one thing to do, like, if you, it's been a while since you've had a tip, the room is full, but like it's not really going, maybe reset the goals. Maybe it's just those goals aren't the right goals for the customers that are in your room, or just, it's just not the right fit for that moment. Reset them and, start fresh with new goals. And I think sometimes that helps sort of revamp the room, and keep the party going. So, there's always things like that. And, if the party ends, it ends. You could then start a group chat, for example. That's a great thing to do. Like if the room is still full, people are still excited about it, you can party chat ends, start a group chat and try to get people in that way. Or just hang on in your open room for a little bit, chat with customers and try a party chat a little later. Not every party chat is going to be like the biggest, like ultimate success, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try again later, or that the next one won't be really, really successful.
Exactly. And you can always reset the goals. So maybe like they might be set a little too high for your room. Like it might just seem like unattainable. So you could always like go lower and like set really small goals because it's easier for them to achieve. And then that might like generate more excitement and the customers will be willing to start tipping more. So you can kind of just keep resetting them until it feels good for you.
And another thing, if you feel like your customers are maybe overwhelmed by, 3 options at once, or feel like they're more interested in option, 3 instead of option 1 and 2 or whatever, you could always just do 1 goal, like Jordan said, and focus on that one and kill 1 goal and then go to the next, or start 2 goals or something. So it's totally up to you, and, being creative with how you set them, how many, things like that are going to be great ways to make sure that your parties, do really well.
Yeah, Amy, like oil shows would be like really good as like your final goal. So like I don't know, for your first one, you could say like, I'll do a dance. The second one, you could do like a strip tease. And then the third goal, when it's like 100% complete, could be like an oil show. So you can really use your imagination. But yeah, we have some examples here. And I don't think there's a limit on party chats, Franchi. I just think you need to be in the, it's like top 50%, right?
Yeah, as
Carlos,
long as
for
you're in
the,
top
to do
50%,
it.
you can start a party. You can do as many parties as you want. If one of your parties ends due to not enough tips, you'll just have to wait a little bit. I believe it's 15 minutes, and then you'll be able to start another party chat. I believe it's 15 minutes. I'll double check. But yeah, here's some examples that we pulled live. So these are real examples that were in real models rooms that we wanted to show just because they're all a little different. What was cool about this one, or what I like about this one, is that I think this is a great example of a tip target with 3 goals for maybe a newer model. Maybe you're still growing your fan base, or maybe you're new to party chats. I think if that's the case, sometimes it's good to start with smaller goals that are quick, you know, like shirt off or flash or just something quick, so that customers feel like, okay, that's an easy goal, let's tip. And then I think what happens in some of these cases is that because the tips are, you know, the goals are like sillier or smaller, you know, they're less effort goals, they're going to be met quicker because the credit amount is smaller. And the other customers in the room are going to see that your goals are being met quickly, and they're going to be more motivated to start tipping towards the goals because they're going to know that it's not going to be like a 20-minute wait or a 15-minute wait or something, so that you get more customers engaged and participating, so that when you do start setting those bigger goals, instead of having 2 or 3 customers helping you reach them, maybe at this point you have 10 or 15 customers that are actively participating and helping you reach the goals. So it'll be easier for you to meet the higher ones. So that's what this example was. This one as well, very similar, small goals that gradually go up. But what I liked about this one was that the second goal is smaller in credits than the first one. So that's another thing. You know, your first one could be, you know, the most credits and then less. It depends. Like, for example, if it's like get naked, then, you know, I don't know, bring toy out, use toy, whatever it is, you know, things like that. The first goal can be the biggest one, and then it could go smaller or whatever it is. Or so it doesn't have to be like in the perfect order.
Right, exactly. I'm gonna try to answer both of your girls' questions here. Jessica, when you come back from a private, does the party chat goal start over? When you're in party chat, you don't go private. It's kind of like you're always in open, and that's okay. When you're in party chat, that's okay for the rules. So if those goals are met, you'll just need to reset them and then input new goals when you complete whatever ones that you did the show or whatever it might be. And then the other question is, it kind of depends up to you. She's basically asking if, you're in party chat and then someone wants to take you private, should you do that or not? And I think it just depends on like the room. If you're getting a lot of like credits while in party chat, it may not be the best idea to like just give that to one customer and earn credits that way. But on the other hand, if the room is like really dead and not a lot of people are tipping and there's requests to go private, I would go private. That way, you're making some credits that way. So just kind of however feels best for you and what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, I think, like Jordan said, it depends on the situation. But I think if a customer is like, hey, I'm really enjoying this, but I really want that one-on-one time. If your party's going amazing, just whisper to them and say, hey, I would love to do, private with you. How about the second this, party chat ends, we go private. Or if the party's a little slow, like Jordan said, and you feel confident that the customer is actually going to come through and take you private, and you guys are whispering, and you've talked about what he wants in the private or what it's going to be like, I don't see a problem in ending the party chat, going private, and then you could restart a party chat again afterwards.
Exactly. Dylan, so if goal 1 is 100 and 2 is 300. Once the first is met, do I need to do 200 more to get to the next, or is it 300? I think it's 300 total, not
So
like
they're separate.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, for example, if goal 1 is 100 and goal 2 is 300, once both goals are met, you'll be at 400 credits.
Right.
So 100 credits will get you to the first level or the first goal, and then customers will need to pledge or send an additional 300 credits to meet the second goal.
Exactly. Jessica, when you restart the party chat, it starts back at 0. Yeah, your earnings aren't reset at 0, but the meter goal is reset to 0. Yeah. These are good questions, guys. Awesome.
This example, going back to the examples, Jordan and I chose because they're larger ones, but it's still in an increment. So it's still like, going in order. So 250, gets top list. 750 gets bottom list. Then 1,000 credits, it's the show, And I think it's important to remember, like, if it's gonna be like blowing a kiss, a quick flash, you could give stuff like that away for lower pricing or whatever pricing you and your customers feel comfortable with. Once you start getting into more sexual things like using a toy or, more explicit things, that's where I think it is, more important to make sure that you're charging a high enough price. You don't want to give things away for too cheap or devalue what you do in the private. So it is important to know, that if you're gonna do something explicit like that in such an open forum like a party chat, that it's still worth it for you as a model, So keep that in mind. And the next one I chose because a lot of models sometimes ask us, like, what can I do in a party chat that's not necessarily sexual or really explicit, because they either don't feel comfortable doing something like that so openly, or they're more of a private show model, but they don't want to miss out on the exposure of a party chat, a party show. So I think with this, it just shows that, like, you could do silly things like taking my shirt off, doing a handstand, dancing, like just fun, silly things, whatever's in your personality. If you are crazy good at yoga, you could do like different yoga poses for each tip level, or a cooking party, just different things, whatever it comes natural to you. But it is important to know that you don't necessarily have to do really sexually explicit things in party chat if you're not into doing things like that. So you can get creative with it. You could do weird, funny, silly, random things as well. And a lot of times customers kind of like that because it's a different vibe, it's something different, and it's just funny. And at the end of the day, customers just want to have a good time and laugh and enjoy with you guys. So it doesn't always need to be sexual necessarily.
Exactly. Jessica, I don't believe you get boosted on the site. Your outline, I think, is like a pink outline when you're in party chat. So that's how customers can know that you're in a party chat, just by looking at your little window in the site.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then this other one is basically just what we were talking about earlier, where you don't need to do one goal or two or three. Or sorry, you don't need to do all three goals. So you could do two, you could do one, and just knock them out that way. It's all about whatever works the best in your room. And then these two we put in here as examples of maybe what not to do in a party goal, just because I'm horny tonight, or let's have fun today. Like, me as a customer, like, I don't really know what I'm going to get for 200 credits to meet the let's goal or like the have goal. So I think doing things that are more generic like that are kind of hard, because it's going to be a harder sell. You're going to either have to be explaining constantly what the goals actually are, or customers are just going to be a little confused and maybe go to another room just because it's like, I'm not really sure what what I'm going to get or what the party's going to turn into with a goal like this.
Yeah. If anything, things like that should be like maybe your room topic. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. May. That's funny. Okay, some pre-party tips. Using your customers as a resource to help come up with new tip goals. So definitely like reading the room. If most of your customers want to see like shower shows or like oil shows or whatever it might be, like have those in your tip goals, because they're probably going to tip for them. But you can also like see what they want to do. Maybe if your room isn't like super conversational, but you have like following on Twitter, you could do Twitter polls, sending out mailers, just whispering to your customers, whatever it might be. Just having creative and different goals is important, and it keeps the room fresh when you're doing party goals. Cool.
And then, oh, go ahead.
You want to go? It doesn't matter to me.
No, you can go.
Okay. And then some post-party chat tips. And And then Mystic Light, you can do shower shows, and what we mean by that is like in the shower, like water shows, nothing else. So some post-party tips, following up with customers, kind of just like your scheduled shows, just like following up and thanking them for joining. So following them up, especially those who like tipped really well and kept the party going and exciting. In the same way, send messages, give away gifts or virtual gifts. You could even do like performer deals, just saying thank you, whatever feels right. Just make them feel special.
Especially for like maybe new tippers, like new guys that came into your room and helped you with tips that maybe you'd never interacted with before. I think, you know, that's a good way to sort of transition them into maybe becoming like actual customers that tip you private, or, you know, start supporting you and helping you win contests and, you know, things on the site. So a quick message is always great, because it could be something like, hey, you know, thanks so much for all your help during the party chat. You really helped make it one of my best ones. I'd love to get to know you more, you know, tell me more about you. Or like Jordan said, send them a performer deal. Maybe not, I wouldn't send them like a full-on free one because they're a brand new one. But you could say, hey, how about, you know, let's go private. I want to get to know you better. After 10 minutes, I'll give you 3 minutes free, or whatever it is. You could also do a giveaway of something like a video package, or just access to one of your VODs, or just even like a month-long membership to your fan club. Just little things like that to make them feel special, make them feel acknowledged, and hopefully, you know, transition them into being, you know, one of your regulars, you know, in your room. And that was what we had. So if you guys have any other questions on either party chats, scheduled shows, or we can open it up and do a full-on Q&A if there's any questions, you know, on other topics not related to either of these two, feel free to send them in the chat.
And if you haven't answered the poll, it should be there on your screen, just like on the right there. And it's just asking if you've done a scheduled show before. You're very welcome.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of you, it looks like 82% so far that have answered have never done a scheduled show. So I really, really hope after this chat, you guys can go in and schedule some, because I think it would be a really, really great way for you guys to get extra promo, get to know some new customers, and do something really fun and exciting for your, you know, your existing top guys.
Definitely. Kelsey, a welcome day show is for those who are like newer on the site. And it's essentially similar to like a scheduled show. It's a show, you want to keep it exciting and show off like who you are and like let customers get to know you. So it's just for new models. I think they have to be online for less than 50 hours total on the site. So if that's you, let us know, and then maybe we can figure something out.
Jessica, that question's a little harder to answer. I think it'll depend on each, you know, each individual model. Some models earn a lot more from party chats. Some models earn a lot more from privates. But I would say the majority of models sort of earn like from a mix. Like they earn a lot from privates, but they also get a lot in tips, whether it's tips in open, private, or you know, party chats. Oh, awesome, Kelsey. So the one special thing that you'll have to do for your Welcome Day show is that when you actually log in, you, instead of, like when you click your private show rate, instead of selecting 50 CPM, there's gonna be a special login type that says Welcome Day 50. Make sure to click that one, and then just make sure, well, actually, why don't you email us directly? We can give you all the info on your Welcome Day show. You can email us at assist@flirt4free.com.
Sweet. And then May, it's okay that that's poorly worded. I think I understand what you're asking. They should only be like deducted from your stats if, say, like you gave someone a performer deal and they decided to use it, and say they were supposed to get like 10 minutes free, but you, like for whatever reason, your internet cut out, or you logged off, or you didn't meet that time requirement. It's going to deduct that from your stats, right, Carlos? So that should be...
No, so it's a little different. So
okay, go ahead.
with the performer deals, it'll never be deducted from your stats. What Jordan was describing is show offers. So like if somebody does a show offer with you, let's say, you know, they said, you know, I'll give you 40 CPM for a 20-minute show or something. If the show only lasted 15 minutes, you'll keep those 15 minutes like 1,000%. The 5 minutes that weren't in the show, like if the internet goes down or whatever, would be given back to the customer. What May is talking about is an update to the way the performer deals work in terms of time online. So yes and no. So I'll answer it in multiple parts just to make sure no one gets confused. So with the performer deals, if you give out a performer deal, and let's say, May, for example, you said, hey, after 5 minutes, I'll give you another 5 minutes free. Both of those 10 minutes would count 100% for your time online for that pay period. The only types of performer deals that the time won't count would be if you give like 10 minutes away for free and the time required is 0. So in those cases, that time won't count. But again, even if you only require 1 minute and there's like, you know, 30 minutes for free, all the time together would count towards it. In terms of what you need to do on a contest day on the site, you only need to work 1 hour that day, and then you will automatically qualify for that contest. And that hour can be spent in private show, it could be spent in party, open, group. The only time that won't count towards that 1 hour will be break or fake chat, or members only if you're doing like a fan club type of show. And May, don't worry, I'll send you an email afterwards just to clarify a little more on it and make sure that, you know, you're good with them, because I don't want you guys to stop sending performer deals because they're a really incredible tool to use. I think most models would agree that when they give out special contests or do special things on contest days, like performer deals, they see a big increase in their overall earnings that day. And yes, May, once the freebie time runs out, if the show continues, they start paying your normal rate, 100%. And same with show offers. If a guy does a show offer with you and the show continues, they'll keep paying at the show offer rate.
Awesome.
Let me see. Javier, yes, this show will be completely available for you guys, 100%, so you'll be able to rewatch the beginning if you missed anything. Hey, Kelly, no worries. You can, once this ends in like 5 minutes, if you click back on the link, there'll be like a video and you'll be able to rewatch the whole thing.
That's a good question, Zoe. I like doing performer deals for rewards. I mean, I think that it's like, I don't know. The nicest way to say you don't do offers, I think, would just be saying like, I don't do offers. Like, it's your room. It's kind of like your thing. You could, you know, if you have a lot of people asking you and you like don't say it, like maybe put it in your bio and like your room topic for a little bit, just to like get the message out there. But it's your room. You can do what you want. And I think that doing deals as a form of rewards is a good idea.
Yeah, Zoe, that's a really great question. What Jordan said is exactly like so true. Like, one thing that's really important to remember is that you guys as models are in charge of your room. You know, it's your room. You set the rules, you set what does and doesn't happen. So
Yeah.
like, never feel like just because a customer took you private or whatever that you have to do everything they're asking. You know, there's no issue. Like, we would never have any issue, or there would never be any repercussions for you guys if you were to, in a show, say, you know what, I don't, you know, feel comfortable doing that. That's not in my thing, but I can do all these other things, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really important to, like, you know, just because a lot of other models do show offers doesn't mean you have to. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. And, you know, that's that.
Exactly. And you're welcome for everyone who's thanking us. We love doing this.
Yeah, honestly, thank you guys so much for joining. It was so fun just to like chit chat even virtually for a little bit and you know, get to chat with some of you guys. Michelle, there's not like a compensation really for joining the webinar, but you do get a power boost. So after this webinar is over, we'll go in and we'll boost everyone that attended, so your power score which affects your overall ranking on the site, will be higher.
Definitely. It's okay, Jessica. I think we're going to do more with some models. I don't know necessarily about Olive in particular, but I think that we're going to be doing that soon.
Yes, we have some really cool surprises. We're going to continue to do the model webinars like the one that Olive did where she was giving out her tips. We're going to be doing that with different models on the site. But we also have another type of webinar that we're going to be doing that's a surprise, but it's going to be really, really cool. We're working with Olive Ray currently to get it all set up, but it's going to be a really cool sort of more model forum, like model-to-model chat type webinar. So we'll have those webinars. We'll have the webinars that Jordan and I do, and then we're also going to be doing some more, model tips and tricks type webinars.
So lots of resources for you guys. That's what it sounds like. Awesome. Cool. Well, do we have, oh good, May, I'm glad. Do we have any more questions? Oh, Lucy, we usually do these towards like the end of the month. I think we'll stay on track with that, right, Carlos?
Yeah, so what we're going to be doing, just to give you guys like a little preview, is we're going to do one webinar a month. So like this month's was Jordan and I's. Next month will be a like a model tips and tricks, and then the next month will be the model forum one that we're working on. So we'll alternate month by month just so that it keeps it fresh and there's always like different things going on and different topics. Another thing, if you guys want specific topics, for us to go over in either of these webinars, feel free to send emails to us. You can send it directly to Jordan or myself. I'm Carlos at Flirt4Free.com. This is Jordan at Flirt4Free.com. Just with whatever topics, so that we make sure that we're setting up webinars that are, specifically what you guys are looking to know more about.
Exactly.
Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention really, really quick, just to be on the lookout, because next month in September, we're bringing back a really cool contest we did last year called the Flirty Awards. I think you guys are really, really going to like this contest because it's 1,000% different than most of the contests we do on the site. It's a really cool, like, tip-based contest that's coming up. We should be releasing all like the rules and info on it really soon here, probably like very beginning of September. But yeah, the Flirties are a really, really cool contest, a way to get your customers excited. And like I said, it's vote-based, so it's not credit-based. So yeah, be on the lookout for the Flirty Awards contest info, which is coming out soon.
Definitely, that one's fun. So, everything, Amir, should be able to be watched back again.
If you weren't, if you didn't register for that particular webinar, let me know. Send me an email and I could send you a direct link, or I could try to add you and send you a link via this webinar platform.
Cool. Thanks, Carlos. Awesome. Cool.
Well, guys, it was a really great webinar. I really, really hope that those of you that haven't done scheduled shows start. Please email us, tips or ideas that you would like to see in future webinars, and we'll let you guys know when the next webinar will be.
Awesome. All right, guys. It was nice chatting with you. Thanks for coming. And I guess we'll see you in a future webinar pretty soon.
See you guys next month. Have a great weekend.
Bye, everyone.